Hey everyone. So basically, you're probably on this video because you searched YouTube and you couldn't find anyone like you who thinks they may or may not be pregnant after having the Essure procedure. So basically, for those who don't know what Essure is a permanently implanted birth control device for women, basically female sterilization. Implantation of Essure does not require a surgical incision. In the procedure, a healthcare provider places flexible inserts through the vagina and cervix and into the fallopian tubes, the tubes that carry the eggs from the ovaries to the uterus. So basically, women have done this as a form of birth control that is permanently done. So I did this in 2013 after the loss of my fourth child.
Okay, a little background story. So like I said, I got Essure in 2013 after the loss of my fourth child. So I had twins in 2011, and then I had a daughter in 2012, and then I was pregnant again in 2013. But I lost that child in February of 2013. And in April of 2013, I decided to get permanent birth control. I didn't want to go through another loss, and 3 kids were enough, especially when they were all close in age. So I got the Essure procedure. I went in. It was like probably like a 20-minute procedure. They put coils in my fallopian tubes, and then I came back. I forget the time frame later, for them to put like a dye into the tubes to make sure that on the ultrasound you cannot see anything passing through the fallopian tubes. Everything was blocked. They confirmed it. But for the next couple of months, I still use birth control just in case because nothing's 100%. But fast forward to November 2019, I went in for my normal routine PAP. And the funny thing is, my doctor made a comment that was basically like, "Oh wow, a lot of people are having complications with Essure, but it seems like you've been doing fine with it. So I'm happy for that." And I said, "Yeah, me too." Fast forward just a few months later, in February of 2020, the later half of February, I was starting exercising or continuing exercising. I had a sharp pain in my stomach. I figured I pulled a muscle, so whatever, okay. And then in March of 2020, I missed my period by 2 days, and I never missed my period. I even have a tracking app, and the app said period missed. And I was like, that's very interesting. Let me just go run over to Dollar Tree, get a pregnancy test. I know I couldn't be pregnant, but if I am pregnant, then I needed to make sure that I knew firsthand that I knew, and then also get in touch with my doctor right away. So I went to Dollar Tree and I grabbed a pregnancy test, and this is the same type of test I've taken for all my pregnancies. So I knew that if it came out positive, I have never had a false positive, then it might be accurate, but that it might be in my fallopian tubes. But if it comes out negative, then I just have to wait for my period to come. That's it. So that's exactly what I did. Okay, so today is March 19th, 2020, 2 days after my missed period. And again, I had Essure in April of 2013, but my periods are usually regular. So a little nervous to do this, but let's see what the results are. So I got a very quick pregnancy test right from Dollar Tree. All my prior pregnancies, I've used it. Why spend more than $1 if you don't need to? So let me just open it. Comes with the measuring and the machine. So let's see. Results we're looking for are negative, which it most likely should be since I had Essure in 2013. Just take some water in the droplet, put some God. In no time at all. Positive. Wow. That kind of frightens me because after having Essure, if you do get pregnant, most likely it's an ectopic pregnancy. I'm literally shaking at the moment. But yeah, it's positive. Wow. March 19th, 2020, 2 days after my missed period. So yeah, the pregnancy test came back positive. Wow, very interesting. It made me extremely nervous. You can hear it in my voice because if you get pregnant with Essure or anything that's messing with your fallopian tubes, you can have an ectopic pregnancy. So right after I took that test, I sat down for just a few minutes, and then I reached out to a friend and let her know that, hey, I think I might be pregnant because this pregnancy test came back. I'm about to call the doctor and see what they think I should do. So then I got on the phone, I called my doctor, and I explained to them that I missed my period by 2 days. I took an at-home pregnancy test, and it came back positive. And the doctor said, oh, well, congratulations. Yes, no? And I said, well, no, because I had Essure, and which is a sterilization procedure. So now I'm worried that it could be ectopic. And the doctor basically said, okay, well, we'll have you scheduled in for an appointment so that you can come in. We will do a blood test to see if you're pregnant. And if you are pregnant, then we will schedule for an ultrasound just to make sure that the pregnancy is not in your fallopian tubes. Great. And because it is a concern for a baby to be growing in your fallopian tubes, I had a pregnancy ultrasound extremely early after the pregnancy test came back positive. After it came back positive, they waited 3 days for it to show if the HCG is multiplying or going up, which means that the pregnancy is moving forward. And it was. So then I went to get the ultrasound, and my very first ultrasound is what I'm going to show you next. So the ultrasound tech confirmed that the pregnancy was in my uterus. So I'm at a loss. I'm shocked because, again, I had kids in 2010, 2011, and it's 2020. My kids are going off to middle school, starting over. All pregnancies to me are a blessing. Again, I did lose a pregnancy prior, but that made me worried because since I did lose a pregnancy prior, and my very first pregnancy with twins, I had them at 29 weeks because of my cervix complications. So this made me extremely nervous. This is part of the reason why I didn't do a video until now. So fast forward, they said that the pregnancy is in the uterus. I waited for a few more weeks before I went into a local ultrasound location just to see if they can see if the pregnancy, if the baby is a boy or a girl. Now, this was about 10 weeks, almost 11 weeks. I went in, and the ultrasound technician said, you may not see anything, and I can't confirm or deny what the baby may be, but you can come to your own conclusions, and then at 20 weeks when you do the ultrasound for the anatomy, then they can confirm it then. I said, sure, no problem. So then she showed me the ultrasound. The look on the ultrasound technician's face was funny because there was no way that she didn't see what I was seeing. Now, the ultrasound technician just pointed at whatever she saw, and she said, hi, Daddy, and we all knew exactly what it was. So on Mother's Day in 2020, I was about 12 weeks when I announced that I was having a boy, and that was my pregnancy announcement. And then later on at 20 weeks, they confirmed that indeed it was a boy that I was carrying. Throughout my pregnancy, I was extremely nervous because I didn't want to lose a pregnancy. I didn't want to have a child early. I've been through all of that, and so I made sure that I did exercise, but I didn't do a lot of exercise. I also didn't gain much weight during my pregnancy. I think it was like seven pounds or so. I still ate normally. I never eat for more than one person. I know that some people say, "Oh, you're eating for two." No, you eat for one person. At least that's what I do. So when I was about 32 weeks, the baby started. He was about five, I think 4 to 5 weeks ahead for growth. So that concerned me because that means to me that I would probably have to have the baby early. And the doctor says, "Oh no, we'll just watch it." So every week after that, he was just measuring ahead, measuring ahead, measuring ahead, measuring ahead. So like, okay, this baby's getting big. This baby is big, so I need to know. I started preparing my bag to make sure that if I have to go in early, that we're ready. And then 38 weeks, I started to go in for stress tests. I also found out that for the first time I was actually anemic, so I actually had some five blood iron transfusions, which was fine. And then 39 weeks hit, and I was still going in for my stress test. Everything was good. 40 weeks hit, no contractions, no baby. I was like, wait a minute. So, first pregnancy, I had kids at 29 weeks. Second pregnancy, I had my daughter at 38 weeks even. Third pregnancy, I lost the pregnancy after a few weeks, almost 12 weeks. And then this pregnancy is 40 weeks and there's no action. I mean, who goes on your fourth child and not have the baby before 40 weeks if you didn't already have kids before that were past 40 weeks? So, okay, all right, this baby's a little different. Cool. 40 weeks in one day comes. I said, oh, wait a minute. So I was doing everything to try to have this baby walking, exercising, dancing, doing all kinds. Nothing. Baby was nothing. Not doing anything, just relaxing. I went in for an ultrasound to make sure he's had enough fluid and all that stuff, and it was fine. And they told me that, the baby right now is about 8 pounds, 2 ounces. I said, oh, wow, that's my biggest baby. Before that, my daughter, after the twins, was 7 pounds, 13 ounces. And the twins were, 3 pounds and 2 pounds. Okay. He's already 8 pounds, 2 ounces. So if I have this baby in a few days, he's about 8 pounds, right? Wrong. I had the baby at 40 weeks and 3 days, and he came out at a whopping 9 pounds and 13 ounces. How in 2 days? I know they said it's not accurate, but how in 2 days did you jump from 8 pounds, 2 ounces to 9 pounds, 13 ounces? I was shocked. But I did go into labor at home. I try to stay at home as long as possible. My water broke at 11:59 a.m. After I got out the shower, I went to a lay down, my water broke. I called the hospital and they told me, wait till about 6, 7 a.m. before you come in, if you're having contractions and stuff like that. I said, okay, cool. But between 12 and 2:30 a.m., I just couldn't do it anymore. I just felt like the contractions were coming way too fast. I was timing them. They were coming way too fast. I just didn't have a break. So I woke up my husband. I said, we need to get to the hospital. So I packed all the kids in the car. I'm going to the hospital. They drop me off. My husband goes and drops the kids off with his parents. Bring me back he goes to the hospital to meet me. Right when I got to the hospital, they brought me upstairs. I didn't even want to sit in a wheelchair. I just wanted to get to that labor and delivery room. So I run upstairs with them and, waddle really, having contractions as I was going. And then when I got into the room, I just stripped all my clothes off. It's like, I'm ready. Let's do this. And my husband wasn't even there yet. But it's cool. So he came and then I was relaxing. But I was still in so much pain that I just had to get the epidural. And I got the epidural and the pain went away from me. But then the baby's heart rate started dropping. So they were pushing me putting me in different directions in order for me to be able to get the baby's heart rate to go back to normal. It went back to normal for a little bit. And then when I went back on my side, just to relax, his heart rate dropped again. And so they rushed me in to have a C-section. So again, last child, fourth child, late pregnancy, first time having a C-section, first time with all of that, and it's my fourth pregnancy. So they run me into the C-section room, prep me, My husband is running in. As he's coming in, they're pulling the baby out of me. And so he basically almost missed everything. They pull him out, they put him on the table, they weighed him. And I was like, oh, whose baby is that? And I'm like, what? So I'm like, is this a communal operating room? I never heard of one of those, especially not in the U.S. So they said, that's your baby. And then so they do what they do. They're wrapping me up and, whatever they do in the C-section room. My husband comes around, sits by my head, and he's holding the baby, smiling and talking. And I'm laying there like, wait a minute, can I see the baby? So he had him for a few minutes, and I didn't even get to meet my child. So then he turns the baby to me, and I'm like, whoa, whose baby is that? Because he was huge, okay? He looked a little sumo wrestler to me. That's my child. I can say what I want to say. But he looked a sumo wrestler. I said, that is not my baby. Whose baby is that? And then everyone in the room's laughing. Then they finally bring him close to me, and then I was able to touch him. And then I went back to, my room after that. And it was an experience and a half. So my baby decided at first, yes, I'm coming. I'm making my way through those fallopian tubes, and I'm coming. 2, I'm going to come when I feel like I'm going to come. And he did that. He came on Thanksgiving morning. And thankfully it was a pandemic because there was nothing going to be happening on Thanksgiving Day anyway. So he came Thanksgiving morning. And he came out huge. So he was completely different than all my other kids. But so he was born in November 2020, Thanksgiving morning. So he's about to be 1 year old. I know people are going to ask more about the Essure and how was I able to get pregnant. So basically when they did the ultrasound, they looked at my tubes and they said that one tube, the fallopian tube, was gone. And it seems like there was still scar tissue there, but I guess the fallopian tube just migrated out of my fallopian tube. The coil migrated out of my tube. And they said after I deliver that they'll look for it, and they did briefly, I guess, but they didn't find anything. And then a few months later, I actually went back in to have my tubes completely removed. So they actually went in and they took out the other tube, both tubes, one coil that was still in the tube, and then they couldn't find the other one. So as of now, the other tube is somewhere in my body. They said that there shouldn't be no reason for me to be concerned about it once it starts creating problems. They don't know exactly where it is. They didn't see it on any test. And I know that there was a point that one of my doctors would say, oh yeah, I think we spoke to your other doctor and they said that one tube was never fully blocked. Now, I asked them what records were because I can show you the records that I got from that day that says they were blocked in the confirmation. And also, it's been how many years since 2013 that me and my husband has never used protection, and now I have a child. So obviously it was blocked. But they said that, if I start having any pains, like in my uterus, my abdomen and stuff like that, then I have to come back and maybe they'll see if the coil is there. But as of right now, I still have it somewhere in my body. It's not causing me any problems. So I can basically, be at ease a little bit with it and just taking care of my new baby. So now I'm a mother of 4, basically 4 miracle babies. And I'm truly blessed. If you have any questions, feel free to write the questions below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. All right?